What if one of the most dangerous serial killers in American history didn't hide in dark alleyways or abandoned buildings? Not behind tinted windows, not inside a suspicious van, but behind the wheel of one of the most ordinary cars ever made. Tonight, this is not the story of Ted Bundy. This is the story of his car, a beige 1968 Volkswagen Beetle. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, the Volkswagen Beetle was everywhere. Cheap, reliable, forgettable. College campuses were filled with them. Neighborhood streets blended into rows of rounded metal and soft colors. The Beetle didn't stand out, and that was its greatest strength. For Ted Bundy, the car wasn't just transportation, it was camouflage. Bundy understood something deeply unsettling about human behavior. People trust what feels familiar. The Beetle looked harmless, friendly even. When it pulled to the curb, it didn't trigger fear. It blended seamlessly into everyday life. Bundy would pretend to be injured, a cast on his arm, a crutch, a polite smile. He asked for help loading books or equipment. And the Beetle, small, unthreatening, completed the illusion. It didn't look like the kind of car a predator would drive, and that illusion worked. Again and again. But the Beetle wasn't just a prop. Bundy altered it. The passenger seat was removed, creating empty space invisible from the outside. A space no one questioned. A space no one saw. Inside that car, victims were restrained, transported, silenced. From the street, it was still just a Volkswagen. Inside, it had become something else entirely. What makes this story truly disturbing isn't only the violence, it's the routine. Bundy drove that Beetle through cities, across state lines, past gas stations, through neighborhoods, into parking lots filled with identical cars. With every mile, the Beetle collected evidence: hair fibers, carpet impressions, traces too small to see and too permanent to erase. The car absorbed everything. It became a moving archive of Bundy's crimes, silent, unnoticed, but never empty. As investigators closed in, something unexpected happened. Witnesses couldn't clearly describe the man, but they remembered the car. Again and again, reports mentioned the same detail: a beige Volkswagen Beetle. In a time before digital tracking, that detail mattered. The car became a pattern, too specific to ignore, too ordinary to believe. In 1975, in Utah, Ted Bundy was pulled over by police. At first, it seemed routine. But the Beetle changed everything. Inside, officers found items that didn't belong: tools, restraints, objects that contradicted Bundy's calm explanations. When forensic investigators examined the Beetle, it told a story Bundy couldn't control. Hair samples linked to victims, fibers connecting people to places they were never meant to be. The car didn't forget. It didn't lie. It simply existed, carrying the truth with it. Bundy believed the Beetle was his advantage, but repetition created consistency, and consistency creates patterns. Patterns are what investigators follow. After Bundy's conviction, the Beetle took on a strange afterlife. It wasn't studied because it was rare. It was studied because it wasn't. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it parks beside you. Sometimes it looks familiar. Sometimes you've seen it 100 times before. In the end, the car outlived the lies. It outlasted the charm. It carried the truth long enough for justice to catch up. So the next time you pass a car that looks harmless, remember this story. Not with fear, but with awareness. Because sometimes it's not the monster you see. It's the vehicle that carried them there.